When a waitress mocked a homeless man for ordering a hot meal, she thought she was just being clever. But minutes later, when her bill arrived, she realized she'd been tested in a way that would change her life forever. Because sometimes, karma doesn't wait for tomorrow. It arrives before the meal is even over. The morning rush was just beginning at Millie's Diner, a cozy roadside spot where locals came for pancakes and gossip. Behind the counter worked Lena, a 29-year-old waitress with tired eyes and a sharper tongue. Lena wasn't a bad person, just a worn-out one. Bills were piling up, her car was barely running, and her boss never stopped reminding her that tips are earned, not given. She used to be kind years ago, but lately, kindness felt like a luxury she couldn't afford. That morning, as regulars filled the booths and the smell of coffee filled the air, the door creaked open. A man stepped inside, clothes worn, hair unkempt, his face lined with the cold of the streets. He looked like someone who hadn't had a real meal in days. The room fell silent. A few customers glanced, then looked away. Lena frowned. "Great," she muttered under her breath. "Just what I need today." She didn't know it yet, but this stranger was about to serve her the biggest lesson of her life. The man sat quietly in the corner booth. He didn't cause trouble, just looked around, hands folded, eyes humble. Lena approached with her order pad. "What'll it be?" she asked flatly, not meeting his eyes. The man hesitated, voice low. "I was wondering if I could just have a cup of coffee, and maybe something warm to eat." "Anything." Lena sighed loudly. "Are you planning to pay for it?" A few customers chuckled. The man nodded slowly. "Yes, ma'am. I can pay." But Lena didn't believe him. She rolled her eyes and scribbled "black coffee" on her pad. When she brought it, she placed it down hard, spilling some on the table. The man just smiled softly. "Thank you," he whispered. Something in his gentle, almost grateful tone made her uneasy. But she brushed it off. Minutes later, he asked for pancakes and eggs. Lena laughed. "Are you sure about that? That's not cheap, you know." The man smiled again. "Yes, I'm sure." She turned away, muttering loud enough for others to hear, "Some people think this place is a charity." Customers laughed again, and the man, still calm, just waited. When the food came, he bowed his head for a silent prayer. He ate slowly, savoring each bite like it was the first real food he'd had in weeks. Lena noticed but didn't care. Her shift was dragging, and she'd already made up her mind. She'd get security to escort him out if he couldn't pay. After all, she thought, people like that always have excuses. But when he finished, he reached into his pocket and pulled out something unexpected. Not a handful of coins. Not a crumpled dollar bill. But a black leather wallet is clean, new, and thick. Lena's smile froze. The man opened the wallet and placed a crisp $100 bill on the table. "Keep the change," he said kindly. Lena blinked in disbelief. Her face flushed. The other customers stared. She tried to speak, but words wouldn't come. The man stood, adjusting his coat. He looked her in the eye for the first time. "I didn't come here to embarrass you," he said softly. "I came to remind you that kindness is worth more than money." Lena's heart pounded. He looked familiar now, not just a stranger. And then she remembered his face had been on a poster near the diner. A local businessman, owner of the old hotel on Main Street. But last year, rumors spread that he'd sold everything and disappeared. Now here he was dressed like a homeless man, testing her patience and her heart. As she stood frozen, her manager, who'd been watching from the kitchen, came out to shake his hand. "Mr. Parker," the manager said nervously. It's been a while." The man smiled. "Just wanted to see how folks around here treat someone who looks like they've lost everything." Then he turned to Lena. "You see, young lady, I once owned this diner. I left it to the staff because I believed in kindness. I stopped by today to see if that kindness was still here." Lena's eyes filled with tears. Her boss looked down, ashamed. The man placed another $100 on the counter. "For everyone who treated me with respect," he said. "And for those who forgot what respect looks like, may this remind them." He smiled once more, nodded politely, and walked out into the cold. Lena stood there, hands trembling, unable to move. That night, after closing, Lena sat alone in that same booth. The smell of coffee lingered. The same corner seat, the same sunlight through the blinds, but she wasn't the same woman anymore. She'd replayed his words 100 times in her head. Kindness is worth more than money. The next morning, she bought a fresh blanket and left it on the diner's doorstep for whoever might need it. No one told her to. No one had to. Because she'd learned what the man came to teach, that the value of a heart can't be measured in dollars or tips, but in how it treats those who have nothing to give in return. Moral: never judge someone by their appearance, because true wealth is found in kindness, not money. Thank for watching Moral Avenue.